All right, Captain. So we got our first game of the day going here. Assassination City Roller Derby versus Chattanooga Roller Girls. I'm really actually excited for this, and I think they're not excited to be here at 10 a.m. to be the first game of the day, but I'm pretty sure they're excited to play each other because I feel this one's going to be a really hot game.
We are here, and we are set for Clover Cup 2019. I'm Captain Motorboater, that first fella you heard, starting off what we're going to be an amazing tournament. That is Speaker of the House, and I believe that you are 100% correct. In a tournament like this, it's tough to start at 10 a.m. on a Friday after a long day of travel, but these teams are pros. They know what they're doing. Fortunately for Assassination City, they are just down the street in Plano, Texas. We are here in North Richland Hills, Texas. Chattanooga, on the other hand, a couple more miles to get here, but they're here and they're ready to rock.
Yeah, I mean, I've had the good fortune of seeing Chattanooga a lot over the years. My kind of regional to me, so I get to have a good time with these players. And, this is only, I think, the second time I'm going to have a chance with Assassination City, and it's been a few years since then as well.
They're one of the original Dallas, Texas roller derby organizations, along with the Dallas Derby Devils, the hosts of the 2019 Clover Cup. Let's meet Assassination City. Skating for Assassination City in black is going to be number 1, Goomba Toomba. 12-19, Curls Gone Wild. Number 15 is Moxie Brown. 130, Sparrow Dynamic. 181, Cannibal Cupcakes. 2011 is KT Swoosh. 26 is Wilhelmina Strike Sphere. 32 is Mayhem. 333 is Roxy Redding. Number 5, coaching and not playing, is Ruby Rad. Corkscrew U is number 588. Boogaloo Tauntaun, number 69. Rounding out the team will be Luna Slamgood, number 934 in your program.
Yeah, and coming out here for the Chattanooga All-Stars, it's going to be 00 Block Mage, 08 Tipsy McStaggers, number 13 Violet Heartbreaker, number 14 Crimson Valkyrie, 151 Bully Von Beatum, 22 Jenny Haight, number 3 Lady Macbeth, 32 Lunatrix, 480 Quads of Chaos, number 5 Goldie, 59 Genosaurus Rex, 789 Susie Slew.
Still working out the kinks for our broadcast here that we'll be uploading every day to YouTube. You will not see the standard overlay with the score and the time. We'll get that worked out for the next game, but for this game going in, we'll give you all the updates that you're going to need on the score and the time because we are broadcast professionals. We are inside of 50 seconds now until we're ready to slate game number 1, Assassination City Roller Derby. They are known as the Conspiracy. Chattanooga Roller Girls, they are the Chattanooga All-Stars, so you'll hear us go back and forth by calling Chattanooga the All-Stars, and probably Assassination City will refer to them as Conspiracy quite often.
Yeah, I was sitting here trying to look at, I'm fortunate enough having one of my best friends being a high-level derby official. Part of my fun of coming to tournaments is always seeing the officials that I know from all over the place. And I was looking at some of the names, and I was just like, cool, yep, people I know, and we'll get to them here in just a little bit.
A quick shout-out to our producer, RPG, the co-head announcer for the 2019 Clover Cup. She waved to y'all. You didn't see it. Ten skaters on the track, 80 wheels, ready to rock.
Yeah, already seeing some good positioning there between Luna Slamgood, 934 for Assassination City, and 59 Genosaurus Rex for Chattanooga. Oh, and Assassination City's going to take first lead.
Yep. Conspiracy will generally run a 3-rotation jam line in a tournament like this, but they do have jammers that they will take in and out of games, so you may not see the same 3 jammers for every contest for Conspiracy.
Yeah, and the Chattanooga All-Stars quick with the pass, getting the star out of the pack onto the head of Block Mage, helping to force the quick call-off, so just a one and done.
If you take a peek across at the coaching staff, TXMRD represented on the coaching staff for the Conspiracy with Diamond, Lambo, Arfides, and the Enabler all over there assisting this team in trying to win an opportunity to take home the trophy for Clover Cup 2017.
So the Conspiracy is going to field number 26, Wilhelmina Strike Sphere, and back into the jammer line has been blocking and pivoting a lot. Back to Goldie, and Goldie gets first lead for Chattanooga.
Nice move on the inside by Goldie, able to get leverage and get through at turn 2. Now in a position to put points on the board. Wilhelmina strike sphere, initial pass completed for Conspiracy. Goldie inside, hits a quick brace 3-wall, forced off the track. Taps and calls. 2 on the board for Chattanooga. 4-2, Assassination City with the advantage inside. 2 minutes to go in period number 1. Or 2 minutes into period number 1.
Yeah,
if there was 2 minutes to go, I would have to get my Doctor Who time travel hat on.
Yeah, we were talking about the Doctor Who earlier. I think you have the Doctor Who on the brain. So this time, Conspiracy is going to field 2011 KT Swoosh, and for Chattanooga, it's going to be 480 Quads of Chaos. Quads of Chaos now makes it 2 in a row going for Chattanooga.
Nice move quickly by Chaos through the center of the track, staying away from lines and putting that lead jammer into her status.
Oh, but it's going to be Conspiracy taking advantage of that jam, though, putting up 2 more points on the turn of the track.
Sparrow Dynamic did collect a multiplayer block penalty, so a slight pack advantage for Chattanooga on this jam.
Yep, you've called it. Here we go. We're already resetting that third jammer, the initial jammer, back out there again for the Conspiracy. Yeah, Chattanooga's an interesting team. They'll go both ways with a lot of their players. They'll just kind of feel out to see who's actually making it work, because they're all equally adept at blocking and occasionally either running a jam long or just kind of flipping it out versus a lot of players.
3 in a row for the Chattanooga All-Stars. Violet Heartbreaker on a scoring pass now. Center of the track, pushing chest to chest against one positional blocker. That was number 32, Mayhem. Mayhem got erased by Chloroform Cupcake. Or not Chloroform Cupcake. She's not here announcing. That was the wrong cupcake. That was Cannibal Cupcake. Shout out to Chloroform Cupcake, by the way, who was supposed to announce with us this weekend. It had some personal issues and had to stay home. We love you. We miss you. We can't wait to see you back again on the tournament schedule.
Yep, keeping that 3-run rolling. We're going to have Wilhelmina Strike Sphere back out there again for the Conspiracy, and matching up, it's going to be Genosaurus Rex. So looking like we're going 4 deep right now for Chattanooga.
Great block by Curls Gone Wild, but unfortunately for Conspiracy, Wilhelmina Strike Sphere in the penalty box. Power jam now for Chattanooga. Genosaurus Rex able to get through that block by Curls Gone Wild. Now a brace 3-wall, anticipating another scoring pass for Chattanooga.
Of course, only the 2 defenders out there versus the 3 are going to make this power jam a little bit tougher, but trying to let her do her own, pick them apart just a little bit.
Chattanooga went for some quick offense and decided to go passive and allow the pack to get stretched out. Quick 4 on the board. Remember, there's some rule changes for this year. No more 5-point scoring passes. I'll never say the words Grand Slam again, and I'm okay with that.
So, yeah, we're now got everybody getting back out here on the track. We're having bodies getting in the way of people. Wilhelmina's back in there trying to mix it up, doing a little out to in now. Finally clearing the pack.
Wilhelmina Strike Sphere with the Batman socks that have capes on them. So that flapping you see is not a blurry camera shot, but as a matter of fact, those socks have capes on them.
So, yeah, like I said, this is a really close game right now. We have a power jam. We only get 6 points out of that. I mean, we almost could have called it a power start with how quickly it came. So we're looking at 8-14, 24 minutes plus and change on the clock here in the first.
Yeah, Chattanooga was probably hoping to take better advantage of that power start. Like you said, just unable to get the job done. This time, KT Swoosh versus Goldie Knox. Goldie Knox was able to get lead jam last time out.
Yeah, that was Bully Von Beatum doing the drawback there into the turn number 4. Chattanooga, a lot of their game plan is to get that deep recycle. But that recycle did not work this time as they got broken up, and now we get that second lead jam out there for the Conspiracy.
KT Swoosh is a force to be reckoned with on the jam line. Wasn't super successful in her first time out. This time picking up lead and already putting 4 on the board. Good positional blocking by Goomba Toomba. Forcing a forearm penalty against Goldilocks. Power jam now for KT Swoosh and Conspiracy.
Yeah, the big difference here is that when Chattanooga had their opportunity, they only had 2 blockers out there for 3. Now we have the full containment of blockers, so little able to mix it up and create some space. But not right now. That's going to be Block Mage getting assisted with the drive out here, but making them have to pick apart and move in different spaces. Gets the jammer through.
KT Swoosh very quick laterally, can get back and forth across half the track or even the whole track. Speed burst quickness, name of KT Swoosh's game.
Yeah, a little game of live action Plinko there, just kind of pinging off of one spot and bouncing to the other.
I'm hoping to win the 10,000 spot, Mr. Barker. Precious seconds running off of this power jam. And now Goldie Knox able to get through on that initial pass. We'll see if KT Swoosh busts the call off out now or looks for one more opportunity to put a point on the board.
Yeah, I think I saw why Goldie got that potential forearm, because just watching trying to clear through, a lot of little hand checking, probably just had that little bit of extra touch on somebody who was a little bit unstable, and that's all it takes sometimes.
19-3 jam for the Conspiracy. They're taking the lead 27-17. Assassination City Roller Derby Conspiracy over the Chattanooga All-Stars. We're at 22 minutes, 20 seconds to go. Period number 1. Jam number 6 on tap. We've got Luna Slam Good number 939 on the jam line for the Conspiracy. Number 480 Quads of Chaos.
Yeah, both teams are starting with a little bit of a formation set as the jammers come into play, but you start seeing a lot more zone spacing out there in their blocking. It's going to be Chattanooga. They've been holding this lead jammer status strong, but they've just not been able to get the multi-passes out there like that last jam for the Conspiracy.
Quads of Chaos, second jam, second time lead.
Yeah, and this time just going to be happy with what they got. Not going to end up giving up any points, because you already saw that one time where points were given up on a power. And that was Quads who was the victim of that the last time as well. So just going to go ahead and take those 2 points, bring their game total to 19. Don't want to forget, we got folks here to thank. We want to thank Blood and Thunder. You can visit the Blood and Thunder booth for roller derby inspired apparel and accessories. Our motto is life's better on roller skates. And Bond Skates, lighter, stronger, faster. Check out our new Park Stars to fit all of your park and lifestyle needs.
I know it sounds weird sometimes for us to talk about the booths that you can visit here at Clover Cup, but we're expecting that you're not only going to watch these, but you're going to come down and participate here at Clover Cup 2019 in North Richland Hills, Texas.
And we're going to go ahead and have another sit down there in the penalty box. It's going to be Power Jam opportunity number 2 for Chattanooga.
Second time in the box, causing a power play for Chattanooga is Wilhelmina Strikesphere. Meanie, as they call her, apparently doing mean things to get rewarded with a seat in the penalty box.
But once again, we see the difficulty that it is. Took a long time to get that lead, basically just about burning off that power opportunity.
So far, Conspiracy been pretty solid defensively. Obviously, some challenges with penalty issues, especially at the jammer position.
Oh, and another. We're going to get a double tap on this jam with that forearm call.
They say at some point, first time when it's your problem, shame on me. Second time, shame on you. This time it's shame on you.
Yeah, it seems like the jammers are trying to get a little extra handsy with these blockers. Good up and under there from Goomba Toomba. Man, it really didn't seem like Violet Heartbreaker really kind of considered that was going to be a challenge.
Goomba Toomba is an outstanding blocker and an outstanding jammer playing that pivot position. I think you might see Meanie come in on this trash and maybe pass the star and get Goomba an opportunity.
The only thing I really say about this defense is it's kind of a bend, don't break. I mean, they're willing to give up some space so long as they maintain control.
Yeah.
And they're doing good bridging and being able to at least get good, and this is what it is. It's 2 points of contact. It's not that single person who's kind of creating that stop. You're getting that second body in there to cut off other lanes. So there is no cut back this way. So they've got the control knowing if you're going anywhere, you either got to go through us or around us in a defined direction.
I don't think that the conspiracy is worried about giving 4 points up on a pass. I think they're worried about giving up multiple points on a pass or multiple passes. And right now, if they look at the way they're playing to hold down. Go ahead and get your 4 on the scoring pass, but that's all you're going to get. You're not going to get multiple passes.
Yeah, and it shows the patience of Chattanooga. They climb back in it, so it's 27-23 at this clock stoppage. And we're going to thank some more folks out here. Chaya setting new standards in derby, park, and lifestyle roller skates. Now taking orders for the Chaya Kismet, the perfect park skate for $229. That's $229.
Let's not forget that RollerCon is just a few months away. 13 tracks, 200 games, and 2 tournaments, 4 rule sets, a skate park, hundreds of coaches, classes, and parties, 24-hour access to the pool, because when you're in the desert, you need to be cool. Check out RollerCon.
And we're having a little bit of a talk here in the middle. I guess Chattanooga's trying to take advantage of the opposing team timeout just to get a little bit of a little drive-by opportunity there. I'm always a good, firm fan of if you got to, stop the clock, go talk to somebody, find out things.
I'm curious to see what the penalty situation that's already befallen the conspiracy, if they might change up their jammer rotation just a bit to keep Meany out of penalty trouble. 3 penalties already in the contest. And we're not even halfway through period number 1.
Yeah, and you were talking about Gubatumba being a jammer. That's going to be a tough call if you're going to throw her in there because, doing a fantastic job leading the top of this defense. Oh, and we're going to get lead number 3 now for the conspiracy.
This is a position that KT Swoosh is very accustomed to after that first jam not getting lead, going back-to-back now.
Yeah, real trying to get a run out there by Genosaurus Rex, trying to steal a few points at the back. Not quite able to make it, but A for effort on that one. Yeah, like I said, it looks pretty consistent between these two teams. I mean, they had the big 19-point jam did Assassination City, but Chattanooga has maintained themselves. They've kind of kept it together. So 31-23, we're still easy within reach as Goldie goes back out there up against Luna Slamgood.
So number 32, Mayhem and Gubatumba, for you folks out there that don't know, are actually sisters. On the track at the same time, a pretty dynamic blocking duo. Obviously, that sister connection helps out, but they're both excellent roller derby players.
Yeah, we're going to have ourselves another Power Jam opportunity for Chattanooga, but I'm going to be interested to see if Chattanooga tries to do something a little bit different in their playbook because, man, Conspiracy has been mean in killing these penalties.
I'm not certain that the passive offense that they've tried early on is going to be the key. I think they're going to have to go a little bit more aggressive, try to open up some work in the middle. They're having their best success when they're attacking the middle of the track.
Well, and thankfully this time with Goldie. Goldie's got that ability that we were talking about earlier, the jammers who can actually kind of slash laterally a little bit and still maintain some, integrity to their momentum. It's just like we saw right there. It was moving sideways and still kept the body rolling forward.
Yeah. Chattanooga's doing a good job of getting their body on people. They need to finish these blocks and get some people off the line, get them out of the center of the track, force a recycle.
Yeah, I was about to say, you mean like Manic Mayhem just did it right there? You said it. She did it. Yeah, took her all the way to the edge, got the recycle, brought her all the way back. Excellent opportunity now to let toe stop saved a pass through there.
Very nice job there by Luna Slamgood. Good toe stop dexterity.
Yeah, at this point, I'd have to say that Goldie's probably passed all skaters. You've got all the points you're going to get on that pass. Quit taking the punishment. Just call it off.
That 12-point jam for Chattanooga puts them in the lead 35-31 at the 16-minute mark of period number 1. Jam number 11 ready to kick off. And here comes that jammer rotation that I was talking about.
Yep.
Now we got Sparrow Dynamic going to take that spot for Meany while Meany gets her thoughts together about how she'll attack when she gets back out on the track. Number 480 in your program is Quads of Chaos for Chattanooga.
Yeah, I think the Assassination bench was either trying to get the back block or the forearm there because both jammers kind of came into a little bit of a tussle. Quads Chaos coming out the better, standing up. But it looks like Assassination City's going to come out the better in the end. New jammer going to get that lead. That's going to be 4 now.
Sparrow not only gets lead but also drew a penalty on the pivot for Chattanooga for a low block. So slight pack advantage for Conspiracy. Sparrow Dynamic on the pass, on the scoring pass, gets the 4. Have a little jammer on jammer action with Quads of Chaos.
Yeah, I'm a little interested in this thought process right now from Assassination City. You know, they're basically just deciding to go ahead and let clock die right here. Because I really wouldn't be one to try to come on to the hip of Quads of Chaos. Very strong blocker for a long time, as is shown right there, barreling into the side of Moxie Brown.
Another blocker penalty for Chattanooga. I didn't see what the hand call was, but they just basically did a do-si-do, so still a slight pack advantage once again for the Conspiracy.
So it really looks like right now Conspiracy believes they're going to get the better of this jam, and right now they definitely are, as now gotten a full track lap advantage coming in here. Yep, goes ahead and takes the fall, decides to call it off. Smart move there. It's going to take you so long to get up off the deck, and with the short clock, it really is kind of no point to try and get yourself back in there.
12 points on the jam, 12-4 for Conspiracy. They jump back in the lead by 4, 43-39 at the 14-minute mark of period number 1. Jam number 12 will have KT Swoosh for Conspiracy taking on Violet Heartbreaker from Chattanooga All-Stars.
And our skating officials for this game are MC Ninja, Kata Killsum, Valerito, Lil Tex, Captain Left Hook, Chad Holderfield, Dylan, and Doesn't Matter.
Both jammers attacking the apex of turn 1 and 2. KT Swoosh finds the room to get lead jammer for Conspiracy. Chattanooga trying to get that initial pass completed now. Swoosh on the outside looking for points on the board, gets knocked off the track. A recycle is going to happen. Violet Heartbreaker with the helmet cover off, looking for a pass. Pass completed. Jammer on record now is Lady Macdeath. Or Macdeath. Lady Mac blew out a skate at turn 1. KT Swoosh on the outside. Stays on the track for another 4. Lady Macdeath inside now. Braced on a 2 wall. Looking for room on the outside. Clip through.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that Chattanooga, they're not afraid to pass the star because they know their Bivets can actually handle the job and not get afraid. You know, they're not going to go in there and do something kind of stupid like you see sometimes with Bivets where they try to do more than they're really capable of, and you get that jammer penalty and woohoo, power jam.
I'm not certain.
Wow, I think I said that too soon.
You know, I was just about to comment that KT Swoosh probably feeling like could have ran a few laps in this situation after the pass, but not going to be able to run any laps if you're sitting in the box. Unfortunate for the Conspiracy, but they have not been able to understand how to stay out of the penalty box from the jammer position.
Wow, that was mayhem with a big shoulder shrug there, putting Lady Macdeath on the deck.
Looks like Lady Macdeath is having a skate issue as well. I've seen a lot of unsureness on that left skate. Either I don't know if there's an injury or if there's a skate problem, but
yeah,
there's definitely something. There's something not working right in the equipment world for Macdeath. We'll see if that gets addressed when she gets back to the bench.
Yeah, because there was a lot of awkward kind of one-leg push skating there,
yeah.
not a double stride out. But, yeah, they're able to finish it off. And as we see,
it could have been fatigue. It could have been maybe they have the wrong wheels. I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna bet she's gonna get that addressed before she gets back on the track.
So lots of points scored in that jam. 15-8, the advantage going to Assassination City. 58-47 is where we are on the score clock. 11:27 on the game clock. I should say scoreboard.
Scoreboard. Luna Slam good jamming in for Conspiracy, taking on Genosaurus Rex. Luna on the inside of turn 2 steps through for the lead jammer.
So finally starting to get a little bit of a run. That's 3 in a row now coming for Assassination City. See, I've seen a lot of this now from some of these Chattanooga skaters that slip and fall. So I'm kind of wondering if they really do not have the proper setup to deal with this floor.
Traditionally, this floor on this, so we have sport court on top of sport court, which is a weird little situation. Most skaters will tell you it's like skating in mud. Track cut on Luna Slam good, but this historically has been a pretty grippy situation, so it's interesting to see if they're over gripping or if they under gripping, and because they thought it was going to be super sticky, that they went a little slick.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking. It's probably a combination of the fact that thinking that it was going to be a grippier floor, but with the it's not super cold in here right now, but it's a little bit of coolness. So it's, like I said, that double layer is probably going to keep that from, forming that kind of humidity in the track as well. So you're not going to get that flex out of that either. But, wow, they're really doing a good job of locking in on Block Mage right now.
Luna Slamgood about to re-enter the track after serving 30 seconds. But, again, a star pass now, so no lead jam will go the full 2 minutes, but there's only 29 seconds left. We're inside at 10 minutes to go. Assassination City is holding on to an 11-point lead. Both jammers have come out. 4 points put on the board that time for that pass for Conspiracy.
Yeah,
going back to the humidity,
yeah.
My superstar statistician and awesome producer RPG is letting us know there is 43% humidity in the building right now.
Oh, we have specifics here. Nice. Yeah, what the thing that's been interesting to watch is these teams are really kind of playing a similar style of defense. I mean, generally it's a lot of start off in a standard formation, end up finding where the points of contact are coming, and then deciding where they want to kind of group their defense a little better to see if they can get the hold. And if they can't get the hold, they're doing the drive out and then the run back. I think what we're seeing is a little better right now out of Assassination City, having that last blocker to beat, hold on a little bit longer to be able to get the friends back.
Right.
I think that right now has been the difference. That last line of defense has been holding a little better.
The first line of defense has been the shoot yourself in the foot style for Conspiracy, living in the penalty box from a jamming perspective. That has given really Chattanooga the opportunity to stay in this game, because you think about the time spent in that box from the jammer. We're talking about, I don't know, with 3 penalties, 6. We have 7 penalties on the jammer so far for Assassination City. That is a lot of time not on the track scoring points, and that's why Assassination City right now is only looking at a 14-point lead instead of something much higher.
Well, and truth be told on that one, too, is that it requires a lot of discipline from your blockers to stay out on the track and just be controlled in those penalty kill situations. And, yeah, you keep doing that jam after jam after jam after jam. Eventually it's going to wear them down. It's going to create opportunities for Chattanooga later in standard play.
Assassination City being held to 6 scoreless jams so far in period number 1. Chattanooga's only had 2 scoreless jams. So they're effective in their jams of at least putting some points on the board. And it shows that their defense at times is having an awesome lockdown. And then a little bit of official timeout. During these official timeouts, we're going to go ahead and relay information given to us by the alternate ref. So forgive us if we don't get that information to you in real time.
Speaking of officials, our non-skating officials are Amy Farrell Fowler, Flourish and Blocks, Jurassic Snark, Sweet Tart, Nova, Molly Slammin, Doc Skinner, LBJ, Big Brad Wolf, and Wolverine.
All right, no explanation on the official timeout, so we're going to roll with everything's okay. We just had to have some conversations about making sure we're on the same page. We're ready to get back to Derby.
So we're going to have our second opportunity to see Sparrow Dynamic out there, and Sparrow Dynamic makes it 2 for 2 now. So, yeah, really coming on strong, 4 in a row now for Assassination City, of course, yielding 2 of those leads courtesy of penalties.
Just checking the scoreboard, the delay official timeout was for an additional point added to the scoreboard for Assassination City. They're now at 65-50.
Yeah, once again, seeing us some athletic ability out of Goldie. Goldie, I know, recently having some, just issues with the body. I mean, it's going to happen in roller derby, and so was really blocking a lot more instead of jamming, just trying to take a little of that abuse and just kind of put it on somebody else. But good to see her back out there, putting on the skates in the way that she just kind of really brought up into the game, being a jammer.
I'm 45 years old. I know about issues with the body.
I think I have more issues than body at this point, as I just turned 45 as well.
By the way, when did you turn 45, sir?
That would be today.
Today. Happy birthday to my man, Speaker of the House, 45 years old. Doesn't sound a day over 44.
So we're going to have another opportunity for Wilhelmina Strikes here to get back out there. Of course, going up against Quads Chaos. Quads Chaos being successful at least getting lead, but has not been able to translate that into multiple passes. And we see it right here as Striker gets back out of the pack, so only potentially leading it to 1. Or will Chattanooga see if they can get that penalty because they've gotten it? Nope. Good drive out there by Goomba Toomba to create the call-off.
Situationally there for Assassination City, getting Meany back out on the track after some penalty situations, getting that pass out there, no penalty on the pass, feeling good, a little bit more confidence being built, and getting back into the flow of the game is going to help Conspiracy through this. Now let's talk about KT Swoosh. 42 points in the contest. 75% lead jammer status.
Well, I was going to say, in the one jam she didn't get lead, she still outpointed the other jammer.
So KT Swoosh is the weapon that Conspiracy is going to try to ride to victory.
There you go. What's the term? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Violet Heartbreaker able to get that initial pass, and now coming in hot to the outside, takes a spill. Cannibal Cupcakes is going to force a recycle back to turn 3. You're still seeing some wobbly wheel stuff going on with Chattanooga. They're going to have to get this floor figured out, I think.
Yeah, and like you were saying, it's not like they've really been able to lock down any of these Chattanooga jammers. They've just been able to control it. Like I said, going back to that bend don't break. And unfortunately, it looks like Chattanooga that time was worried about trying to get their jammer out and totally missed KT Swoosh, who just did a little two-step over the inside there.
From a coaching perspective, this many passes that KT Swoosh has made, you've got to commit to offense and get that jammer out. You've either got to get a pass or you've got to commit all 4 blockers to play an O.
Yeah, and that was the problem. They didn't really fully commit to the offense. You had a couple of blockers that were just kind of staring off into space while one was doing things. Of course, now we're going to have a changing of the guard here at the jammer. That's going to be number 22, Jenny Haight.
I like the directness of that name. Just Jenny, and I hate.
Well, and actually looking to come out of this pretty well. Maybe this might be a little change of the pace for Chattanooga here.
You're going to put points on the board. You can't assume that they're going to have KT run last for the whole jam.
Jenny Haight is one of those sometimes runs jammers, as we're seeing right here. But like I said, they let their pivots have the opportunity on occasion. Of course, Chattanooga is coming into this down their, what I would call their number 1 jammer over there, bench coaching.
28-point jam for Assassination City. That increases the personal point total to 66 for KT Swoosh, and we are 97-68 with 5 minutes to go in period number 1, jam number 17. That was, in fact, the highest scoring jam of the contest so far at 28 points.
Well, and like I said, dropping the 5th point, seeing jams like that are going to be a little more rare, I think, just because it does require you to get those extra runs in to continue to get that point total up. But yeah, it was like we said, we saw in that jam there were opportunities there where Chattanooga just was not really on point with their awareness. So here we go. We're going to give a little shout-out to our vendors again. It's Pro Design. Been around for a long time, since 1986. Continues to manufacture 100% U.S.-made, world-class protective products right out of Houston, Texas. Texas-built, Texas stuff. All right, and yeehaw from Texas.
You pull that off because you're from Alabama.
Yeah, we
got
some
nice
kinship.
Southern roll there. I can't wait for that read to get done by Dork Mistress, who we have joining us from Wales. That's going to sound outstanding.
I'm going to try. Yeehaw.
So I don't know if you guys all know this out there in roller derby land, but Clover Cup is in fact a WFTDA recognized tournament. And WFTDA, as most of you know, is the organizing body for women's flat track roller derby here in America and abroad. The letters WFTDA are an acronym, obviously, for Women's Flat Track Roller Derby Association. There are 470 WFTDA leagues spanning 6 continents. The only continent that it's not spanning, I'm going to assume, is Antarctica, but I'm not a professional, so I don't know for sure. Everything you ever need to know about roller derby and how it's played can be found at WFTDA.com, so go check it out. Also, if you want to give shout-outs to Clover Cup, And make sure that WFTDA is paying attention. On Twitter, they're at WFTDA. Instagram is also at WFTDA. And on Facebook.com/WFTDA. Since we are a WFTDA recognized tournament, the program recognizes and supports the high-quality WFTDA members that host the tournament, the Dallas Derby Devils, worldwide.
Yeah, I remember when there really just weren't that many of the recognized tournaments, oddly enough, one of the ones that was one of the early ones is kind of near me down in Augusta, Georgia, Lowdown Throwdown.
Low down Throwdown.
It's a really great place to be. I was really happy to be there. And, I really like to see that there's, and I know what it is you're trying to get a consistency of how these tournaments are operated and run, and so people kind of know what they're getting when they step in.
Right. The first one of the season was Lobster Roll on March 9th and 10th down in Wilmington, Massachusetts. Then we have Clover Cup this weekend. After us, it's going to be Dust Devil Tournament in Tucson. Then we get the Euro Cup in Bury, England. I'm sure I said that wrong, and I'm sure I'm going to get Twitter destroyed for it. Siege of CNY in April. That's in Rome, New York. Skate the Thrill, April 13th, the same weekend as Siege of CNY in St. Charles, Missouri.
I've done that one a few times. I really enjoy that. It's another good group of people there in St. Louis.
Coastal Chaos, April 26th to the 28th in Rockport, Maine. Southern Discomfort in Columbia, South Carolina, April 26th to the 28th. The K-Town Shakedown the same weekend in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Put up your toques. That's a Canadian reference to a hat. May 3rd through the 5th.
It's like a matter of fact, to a hat.
In Kitchener-Waterloo. I said that with a weird accent. Well, it doesn't matter. Shout out to Tri-City Roller Derby for hosting that. Big O in Eugene, Oregon, May the 3rd through the 5th. Emerald City Roller Girls up there. Flat Track Fever in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, May 10th through the 12th. Paris is Burning, the 2E edition. May 25 and 26, Paris, France, obviously. Midwest Brouhaha, 31st of May and through June 2nd in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The Besterns, that'll be in Denver, Colorado, June 7 through 9. Ooftapalooza in Wausau, Wisconsin, June 6th through the June 8th and 9th.
I have the information.
Give me some words.
I got the stuff.
Why were we sitting here for so long while I'm just rambling about tournaments?
So Chattanooga was looking to get an illegal assist from a whip used, by the jammer for Assassination City. It was not observed. Therefore, the no call stands, and they lose their official review.
Are we suggesting that a whip has become an illegal assist?
No, it's for the positioning of said players made the contact illegal.
Copy 10-4, good buddy. I can tell you right now that Luna Slam Good is the lead jammer for Conspiracy. Chattanooga did a star stash, but not a pass. So 4 points on the board for Conspiracy. We are at 101 points for Assassination City. Chattanooga Roller Girls 68. 4 minutes to go, period number 1. Jam 18 on deck. Sparrow Dynamic for the Conspiracy, taken on number 5 in the gray. Or white. I think it's gray. We're going to call it.
It's a silver.
That's Goldie Knox ready to kick some booty.
Yeah, like I said, it's good to see Goldie back out there. And that's the Goldie I've been waiting to see.
Did you see the quickness? As soon as the whistle blew, split the entire pack right up the middle.
Well, and that's what Goldie was known. Goldie was known as this. It's kind of like you want to almost call it a surgical hammer. Is the ability to find that little crease in between people and hit it with massive amounts of force.
Isn't that some sort of nightmare, a surgical hammer?
I think I need to copyright that. I like that one.
Wow.
No, that needs to be written in some really odd script that we can't read, and they need to be a death metal band. Death metal band name? Is that what we're going with?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah.
I was gonna go a different way, and then I thought about all of the offensive natures of what that was gonna bring, and I stopped myself.
See, sometimes the internet will make you do smart things.
Thanks, Twitter. Wilhelmina Strike Sphere taking on Quads of Chaos. Both of these jammers, I think, are very similar in style. And that's going to show as they both explode through the pack almost at the exact same time. Wilhelmina Strike Sphere, lead jammer for Conspiracy. Quads of Chaos, hot on the heels.
And I think it's kind of a safe bet because they've now done this 2 times where, Quads of Chaos took advantage of all eyes to the outside to make the easy 4-point pass, take advantage of the non-lead scoring opportunity.
Yeah, very curious what Assassination City was paying attention to on that pass. They might have even lost sight of who was jamming at that moment.
Well, I mean, we saw Chattanooga do the same thing in the same place, a few jams ago. Curdy is giving KT Swoosh that massive 28-point jam. A lot of similar activities occurred during that jam.
Yeah, Meanie is still lead jammer. Wondering if there was a call off on deck, and it sure was.
Yeah, I would hazard to guess the idea of matching those 2 jammers up right now the last couple of jams is that Quads Gas has gotten, the ability to get out of the pack, but has not turned it into any real points.
And I think if I'm coaching on the Chattanooga side, I don't like that matchup because I don't think that jammer matchup forces Meanie to do things outside of her comfort zone. And if you got somebody in penalty trouble, you want to force them to do things they don't normally do. I think when they square up, they look at each other as very similar, and that doesn't force Meanie to pressure how she's attacking the pack.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's really pretty much getting her into kind of like you said, a safe space. Some places that can be comfortable and, do the gameplay that works.
Official review now by Assassination City. We'll let you know what it's for in a moment, but we'll run through some of our incredible sponsors. I'd like to talk about my good buddy who's here in the building. So when you come down here later, check out very own Arkham inmate at Massage Connection. Massage Connection booth right here. Dallas's very own Arkham inmate and her entire team of massage therapists that specialize in stress relief, pain relief, and sports recovery will be here to give massages. They are extremely inexpensive and very, very good. Highly recommend checking out Massage Connection.
Yeah, have you heard of this? Have you heard of this company, Adam Skates?
Nope.
Really? Wow. They make high-quality skates for affordable pricing. It's something for everyone at Adam Skates.
I kid.
Even you.
I kid. Who doesn't know about Adam Skates? And I can't wait to check out what they brought to Clover Cup because every year they've got some of the best things to check out in the building. So I will be checking out what they've brought from Adam Skates.
Oh, I need elbow pads. I know that right now. So I might be able to. It's kind of one of those ones I would love to go get some pro designed. Of course, again, I don't think I'm the right person because I am not going to abuse them the way that those things can be abused. Because I have a friend who's got some and she's had them since forever, and they just stand up to everything.
They're legit world class.
So we're looking to get a back block call here on the opposing jammer is Assassination City against Chattanooga. So we will pensively wait to see what the outcome is.
Normally, I'll throw my opinion out there and say if I saw it, I can tell you that I honestly didn't see anything, and I bet you dollars to donuts that no one else did either. So this might be a one of those. I kind of want a timeout right now, but I'm going to use the timeout and try to get a penalty on the jammer at the same time scenarios.
Yeah, well, the other side of this one too is I would love to see this the delineation. Is it the back block that created an opportunity, so like maybe kind of like that forearm hands to the back kind of thing where you kind of shove somebody out of the way to get the pass through, or was this the new metric of you just touched him in a really hard way and didn't gain anything other than you just kind of pulled a crap move?
And what we've seen so far early on in the season is that it's not about gaining track position through the penalty, but the penalty itself is the infraction. Coming in hot, out of control, contact in a space that is not designed to be contacted, not in the proper hitting zone, is going to get you a trip to the box if, in fact, it's seen that way.
Well, and you got these jammers that were good about doing those little rabbit punches. It wasn't necessarily something for them to gain something right now, as it was just something to kind of basically take the legs out of the opposing defense over time. That constant assault just led to slower laterals.
Let's go ahead and reset while we're waiting on this call. Assassination City Roller Derby's Conspiracy, 109 points. Chattanooga Roller Girls All-Stars, 80 points. Last jam was 8-8 on the point total. So no increase or decrease of the lead. We have 1:44 left on the clock. Period number 1, jam number 20, and possibly the last jam of the game. We'll see.
You mean in the half? Period.
Of course, period.
The game, I'm like, damn it, did you light speed us forward again that fast?
We've already discussed that I'm stuck in time travel, and I don't understand why you can't just join me.
Well, what? So I get to be your companion, Doctor.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, you're not captain anymore. You're the doctor if you're going to do that. So, yeah. Now, this is what we're looking at our stats here, the wonderful stats that are provided to us. And, you know, I've been sitting here looking over here on my hand jam stats. And, yeah, it's really been a flip of the script between, you know, from like halfway through this. So we at about jam number 10, it turned over, and it became really a lead advantage game for Assassination City. So we're sitting at a 52-47 kind of game right now. And it's been within this second half of this first period where really Assassination City has turned it on.
It's interesting we're in March Madness, and I don't always like to compare sports, but this feels very March Madness-y, where you have one team that is spreading the wealth from a points perspective, where Chattanooga is able to put 7 skaters on the board from a point scoring perspective. Assassination City only 4 skaters, and of those 4 skaters, those 109 points, 70 of them belong to KT Swoosh. So she's literally like the Michael Jordan of point scoring for Assassination City right now. And Chattanooga is playing a full team game, spreading the wealth.
So they were looking for the back block late hit, no call stands, but like we were talking about, the Assassination City got an opportunity of 5 minutes of rest out of that official review.
And they put KT Swoosh back on the track, probably not in her standard rotation because she did go up against Quads of Chaos now and instantly gets lead jammer. But good work by Quads of Chaos pushing Sparrow Dynamic out of the way to get that first pass completed for Chattanooga.
Well, see, and that's the thing right now. Quads of Chaos isn't really the one who's going to break you for Chattanooga. It's, you know, you're not going to take advantage of her necessarily. But once again, she's able to hold it and be out there, but Chattanooga has yet to find that game breaker in their jammer rotation.
Huge hit by Mayhem. That's going to force a recycle by Chaos, and Chaos took a hard right hip fall. We'll see if that has any impact on the rest of the jam.
Yeah, I'm going to say right now what we're seeing out of Assassination City's blockers when they're taking them to their edge, they're definitely getting a lot lower, so it's not necessarily just getting the drive out, they're also getting the put down.
Yeah, if you remember the conversation earlier about what Chattanooga wasn't doing in their blocking, they were getting good position and good hits, but then not completing the block, where Assassination City is now completing the block, either taking you off the track or putting you on the floor.
Yeah, because a lot of those Assassination City jammers, you know, even if they got taken to the edge and just a step off, it was a quick step back in. It really didn't disrupt their balance or their control. So we're going to finish that one with an 8-3, 117-83 advantage for the Conspiracy. 15, about 14, 13, 12. We're counting this game clock down. Of course, jam time can be the preeminent here.
As I alluded to earlier, first time on the jam line for a Conspiracy, it's Goomba Toomba. Waiting to the last jam of the half to get the debut. We'll see if the highlighted jammer situation I gave her.
Well, and Violent Heartbreaker has had a bit of a struggle in this game, not really doing well at getting the lead. Of course, a few times the pass has been made to the pivot. Points have been scored. I'm always a little interested to take a different jammer here on last jam because it either you know makes it for you or it can break you. Because I know as a coach, I've taken advantage where we've gotten a penalty on a jammer coming in late and been able to rattle off 20 going into the half and kind of really change the nature of the game. But that isn't the case right here because
No.
Goomba Toomba is adding into that game total.
It was an interesting ploy by Diamond to keep Goomba Toomba to the very end, but Goomba coming in through that pass with a high block penalty. So power jam time. Moxie Brown headed to the box as well for Conspiracy. So a pack advantage and power jam on tap in the last 45 seconds of the period and of the jam for Chattanooga.
Yeah, I actually saw that high block, did a lateral slash and tried to pop up into the body of Lady Macbeth and actually just ended up driving that helmet right into the chin. You know, high blocks are really difficult to see a lot of times because a lot of times they're just kind of incidental contact inside. That one definitely was right there out in the open if I could see it.
Sure, and incidental or not, when you get in the box, you can't score points, and a great job by Violet Heartbreaker to continue to put points on the board for Chattanooga during that power jam.
Yeah, there's definitely one thing I've seen a little bit out of this game that I'm a little surprised at. We just saw it here right there at the end. A lot of these blockers were able to get what I feel. You know, if I was a coach on the sideline, I'd be asking a little bit about how close they're getting to my down jammers.
Right.
You know, because that is a misconduct. You can't cover that skater while they're down. They have to be able to have the opportunity to rise from the deck. And all it does, it buys you a few more seconds out there, you know, to re-corral your defense and reset in front of them.
Sure.
But I've seen that a few times so far this afternoon.
Chattanooga able to take advantage of that and put an extra 3 points on the board over Assassination City to trim the margin a little bit, but we roll into halftime. 129 for Assassination City Roller Derby Conspiracy, 98 for the Chattanooga Roller Girls All-Stars. We'll have a lot to talk about when we come back, but about 14 minutes from now, I remain Captain Motorboater alongside Speaker of the House. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Butter alongside Speaker of the House. Speaker, interesting first half. A lot of opportunity for Assassination City to be blowing this game out of the water, but penalties, especially from the jammer position.
Man, I was looking at some of the numbers here. It's kind of crazy. So, okay, leads really was Chattanooga at the start, and then Assassination City just flipped it. So 12-9 is how they ended this one. So they came on strong at the end. So, like I said, the penalties. 16 and 12. So Assassination was 16. 6 of those are forearms. Of course, you know, track cuts are mixed in, some multiplayers that mix in. For Chattanooga, it's 6 direction penalties.
3 of those forearms were collected by Wilhelmina Strike Sphere. All 3 of the penalties that skater collected in the first 4 jams that they were on the track. Outside of that, they cleaned it up.
Yeah.
Luna Slamkin
really
with a couple from the jamming perspective. Sparrow Dynamic with a couple. KT Swoosh only one, but that one was in the middle of a power jam. So there was a switch there, and that was unfortunate for Assassination City. But Chattanooga, talk about playing a team game. While they've had this incredible first half of defense, they're only allowing KT Swoosh to dominate. 78 points on the track.
That's the player. I mean, that's it.
Everyone else on the track for Assassination City has 15, 17, 12 points. Chattanooga, on the other hand, Goldilocks with 25, Violet Heartbeat with 23, Quads of Chaos with 22. I mean, spreading the wealth throughout and playing good defense. This game should be out of hand right now, but because of the penalty issues early in the first half and Chattanooga's lockdown defense, when they do get in trouble, are the reason why they're only down inside of 30 points.
Well, and that's the thing. Chattanooga's just consistent. They're just that kind of team. So, I mean, here's my question. Are they going to focus in and really try to lock down on KT Swoosh and make the rest of the team beat them? I mean, it's easier said than done, but, of course, that's what you got to do at this point. That is the player that is hurting you the most. Of course, that came courtesy of a 28-point jam, a 15-point jam, so there was some, a 19-point jam. So there's some big hitters in there on those jams. And a lot of that was just not being aware.
We saw the ace up the sleeve for the coaching staff from Assassination City putting Goomba Toomba in the last jam. Goomba did pick up a penalty, however, but put points on the board. I know that that's going to be a little bit more prevalent in the second half if it remains a close contest.
Yeah, and here we are. It's the same matchup. We were talking about this earlier, that comfort zone for Wilhelmina Strike Sphere being up against Quads of Chaos.
Assassination City really likes this matchup because it doesn't put Meanie in a position to really stretch how she's going to play outside of her normal style. That should keep her out of the penalty box.
Yeah, and I just saw it just right here in front of us. I saw, like I said, where that last line defender, the difference in the way that the two teams are playing. So Chattanooga, it was pretty much a shoulder fight. It was a bumping battle. Whereas when you watched Assassination City, it was a dig up and under control.
Mm-hmm.
So it's buying the time from the last person, not getting the big hit win.
Here goes Goomba Toomba on the jam line. Second jam of the game for Goomba. Got lead the first time. We'll see what happens here. Pressing center of the track, and now peek to the outside. Penalty by Violet Heartbreaker for directional. That's a tough one to take from the jam position for sure. Goomba Toomba quickly out. Now in a position to put points on the board for Assassination City.
Well, and this is going to be an interesting moment because we only really saw one jammer penalty in the first half coming out of Chattanooga, so they kept their skaters out there on the floor.
Right.
So, yeah, and we're seeing it's going to go with a passive offense. So I think this kind of plays in a little bit to the style of these teams on defense, but that time Goomba Toomba just
good
really
work
able to
initially there by that brace three wall, holding Goomba Toomba. Coach Diamond wanting to trap and get a power start. KT Swoosh now on the track, going to be the power starter for Assassination City.
Yeah, and I just noticed since they had that right there in front of us, I really just played into what we're not seeing right now. We're seeing out of Assassination City, but not Chattanooga. We were not seeing the brace help to guide the control blocker to stay to the body of the jammer. So, I think that's part of it right there is that you're not continuing, like you said, continuing that contact all the way through.
Whistle blows and the skaters roll. KT Swoosh has lead, but still one blocker to beat. Able to get around turn two. Couple karate chops on the way through. Star pass now for Chattanooga.
It's going to go to block mage out of the hands of a Violet Heartbreaker.
Forearm penalty on KT Swoosh.
Yeah, you can see Bully Von beat him from the deck, after getting thrown to the deck, was calling that into the inside like, yeah, she did.
We are going to go the full 2 minutes. Still a minute 15 left on the jam clock. Let's see if Block Mage can do some damage with the power jam. Very nice block by Mayhem, forcing an inside recycle.
Yeah, right now it really has been. Chattanooga just not been able to run the offense against this Conspiracy defense. They really are doing a very good job of making sure they keep a floater free, somebody to re-corral and re-catch should they get broken.
The challenge with the floater on that situation is that floater's not running any offense for Mage. They waited 15 seconds for KT Swoosh to get out of the box, and nobody was trying to help Mage get through. Nice job by Assassination City to hold Mage at that point, mitigating the damage on the power jam.
Yeah, I think what's happening right now is Chattanooga's not able to contain that, like I said, that floater for Assassination City. They're able to let that one leak out, who's able to get in that position and slow it back down and let the team reform around. Yeah, see, it's a lot of that right there. What we see is just a kind of swing and a miss kind of hits in there for offense, and they're just not really getting the control in there. Yeah, once again, KT Swoosh using that lateral action to keep away from that ability for the Chattanooga blockers to keep that contact all the way to the edge. Another little slip around there to finish off that jam.
I feel like we're giving a little bit of discredit to Chattanooga, but not enough credit maybe on the defense that's being played by Assassination City. We're talking about the blocks that maybe need to be finished a little bit better, but let's give credit to Assassination for taking on the hits.
Oh, yeah.
And able to hold their position and hold their blocks. I don't want to make it seem like we're saying that Chattanooga is doing something really bad, but maybe let's point to the fact that Assassination City is doing something very good.
Well, and it's like I said, it's and we are going to get ahead and get the track cut there at the start. So a power jam now for Goldie. Goldie, the leading scorer for Chattanooga thus far.
Just the jammer they want to help get back in the contest after Assassination City jumped to a 40-point lead, 149 to 109.
Yeah, it's like I said. I think, like I said, the difference is coming right now is one team seems to be going for the win, and the other team seems to be going for the control. It's pretty much, like I said, they're pretty much playing the same type of defense. It's just the little bit of how they're trying to execute the finish of it is where the difference is coming right now.
Goldilocks has an opportunity to shrink the lead. It was at 1 point, 51 points. We're inside of 40 points now with this 4-point jam. Luna Slamgood back on the track now.
Coming in with a little bit of frenetic pace, a little hard contact coming in here right now. Maybe feeling a little bit antsy having been in the box for a while, watching Goldie get an opportunity to get in there, but does break the pack cleanly. So now we're going to have an opportunity for Goldie to make a decision and for the Chattanooga bench to relay that decision.
That decision's been made. We're going to call this off before any points get on the board. A shutout jam for Chattanooga. The All-Stars are at 121. Conspiracy 149. We're right back into it with 23 minutes to go. Period number 2, jam number 5 will feature number 59 in your program, Genosaurus Rex for Chattanooga. Showing off some very, very stellar dance moves.
Yeah, I was wondering. We had a slow move over there from the Conspiracy bench. So yeah, they're going to go ahead and call the team timeout. So, but I was just thinking about this before that timeout. At some point, Chattanooga's just going to have to roll the dice and maybe trust a player like Goldie or perhaps Quads of Chaos, who's been able to get out there and get lead and stay in the running for points, and let them run a jam long when they don't have, KT Swoosh out on the track. I think you're going to have to try and make up some distance when, she's not on the track.
To your point, right now what's working for Chattanooga is capitalizing to an extent when Assassination City is in the box.
Yeah.
And that's keeping them in striking distance. And maybe that's going to work until they get to the latter stages of the period. And maybe then there's a different approach they'll take. Maybe go for the throat, maybe go for the win. I think for right now what's happening, they should be pretty pleased with where they're at.
Yeah, I mean, they're within striking distance, but it's kind of one of those ones that I don't like seeing teams to wait till too late because you just start running out of clock at some point, and then it becomes more about clock management than it is about game management and what you want to do on the track. You kind of have to, pick a moment. Like that one with Goldie, I thought with as rough as, the opposing jammer was trying to get to the pack, you might have gotten that penalty. But, oh, man, playing it clean, speaking of penalties, the last few times out on the track, Wilhelmina has really done a good job of just maintaining the line they want and getting through clean.
I think the coaching staff did a great job of isolating her on the bench, talking through what she was doing that was causing her to earn those forearm penalties. She's obviously made the adjustment.
Yeah. Yeah, you're definitely seeing come through hands down a lot more now, really working more with the shoulders as opposed to the hands on hand-checking the opposing blockers.
Sure, and the more opportunity they get for Mina to be on the track, the less they have to go deep into their bench. They don't have to double up with Goomba.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Assassination City, they lost 2 very important skaters last week during a scrimmage to broken legs.
Wow.
And that is going to affect their depth, and they've got to manage that throughout this weekend. And if they can't keep their jammers out of the box and off the penalty sheet, it's going to affect how they're going to play the games moving forward.
Well, and I think that's one of the things you see in a game like roller derby. I mean, it's not like these larger, especially in some of the cities where you don't have like this roster that's like, you got 3 teams deep where you can just keep pulling somebody up and pulling somebody up. You have to contend with those things. Those are just things as a coach and as a team you're going to have to contend with sometimes.
Back on the track, jamming for Conspiracy is Luna Slamgood. Quads of Chaos is your lead jammer for Chattanooga.
Well, like I said, this might be the opportunity because the last time Luna Slamgood was out there, struggled a little bit, got the penalty, and they came back in a little bit rough and a little bit hot. So they seem to be finding the measure right now of Luna Slamgood. So this might be the opportunity to let Quads get in there and run this for a while.
Luna works the edges of the track quite a bit, and I think it's most effective when attacking the center and not taking the risk of getting forced off. A lot of power in that skater, and if the body position is right, can work her way through the center. I think a little bit of frustration there and just went for a star pass.
Yeah, Goomba Toomba, though. But like I said, hey, heck of a person to pass the star, too. Good finish to that one. Quads cast, and this is it. These are the moments that you kind of have to pick those spots to come in and take a few swings, take a few real heavy swings. They've been throwing the body blows all game long to quote a different sport, but this is where you got to go. You got to go for it on some level. I'm not saying you got to put it all out there, but you gotta make some commitments to adjust something a little bit.
Interesting matchup right here. We're going number one against number one, right? Your best against my best, and let's see what's going to happen.
Because, 157, 133, we are in a very approachable game right now, and if they can figure out a way to lock down KT Swoosh, this could be a difference maker, especially if Goldie can get going, as we've seen Goldie get a couple of jams going strong here recently.
KT Swoosh always finds room on the outside and is so quick around the outside.
Yeah, great burst step when the opportunity comes. Yeah, I saw it. The back block was called. Goldie came into the back of the sealed-up blocker on the inside edge strong. It was just one of those we were talking about, those new back block metric.
I'll tell you what, Goldie didn't get off the track immediately 90 degrees, actually took a hit after the penalty, and is pretty lucky he's only going to serve 30 seconds. Goomba Toomba off for a directional block. KT Swoosh around for 4 points.
Yeah, and it was just right there. We saw that we had KT Swoosh, had gotten stood up by Jenny Haight, but the problem was there was not a secondary blocker there to assist to seal. Now, right now, we're trying to see that, but like you said, that ability to get to the edge around Lady Macbeth and Jenny Haight was you can't really coach against that. You just kind of have to be there.
On these past couple passes, Assassination City's O has been outstanding. They're disrupting the brace 3 wall, even a 4 wall flat. It's just getting blown up by the offense. A very good stretch of derby there by the Assassination City blockers.
Well, I mean, we talk about, KT Swoosh and the things that they're doing, but there's a real technicality to it. You can watch, as going into the middle, looking at where the angles are and creating, the advantage angles once the contact is made. And, I mean, I know it sounds like we're talking about KT Swoosh a lot, but, I mean, it's because KT Swoosh, it's the leading scorer of all scorers out there now. I mean, it's been really impressive, to watch, her jam, because it's not just like, oh, I'm taking apex jumps and getting free, quick points on a big jump. They're really methodical jams.
KT Swoosh is sitting on 102 points individually of 169 total for the team. We're going to talk about somebody a lot if they're doing that kind of stuff.
And like I said, we've seen this. We went with Sparrow here after the issues with the penalties from Wilhelmina, and it's really paid off now because not only do you have another jammer to go to, but, being very effective out there as well. Like there, turn of the hips and the skates and kept it on moving on the outside.
Sparrow Dynamic comes in as one of those skaters who had been pretty much a full-time jammer almost their whole career. Got into blocking in the latter stages, mostly because they have, from my understanding, from a skater's perspective, they just have a lot more fun skating in a blocking position than they do from a jamming position. Now, we're having an illegal procedure. Yeah. It's obviously a uniform situation. Yeah. There's a number problem and has a temporary, a fixation.
Overlay,
if you will, on the number situation.
We'll cover up.
And it has come off, if you will. What I really love here, I love this sport, the official that called the penalty has come in and inspected the overlay and is going to explain, why the penalty was called and if that's going to be a fixable situation for the rest of this jam.
Yeah, because, if you're not considered in, if you're in violation, are you eligible to return to play because you're in violation? But
because of the uniform situation, generally speaking, coaches aren't supposed to be in the box while you're in the box to fix the uniform situation, and it doesn't even look like it's fixable at the moment. So because of that situation, essentially the rest of the jam, which is now only 2 seconds, Sparrow's going to have to stay in the box. Now that the jam is over, it's my understanding that they should be able to fix the situation.
Yeah. No, that was going to be interesting. Should nothing be able to? But like you said, we were talking earlier about Goldie. It's like, well, you should have possibly gone for the double tap on that one for not leaving the track quick enough. We just saw coaching staff go into the penalty box to address the issue, and it's like, no, you're not allowed to go into the penalty box.
Now we're getting an official timeout.
Yeah.
We're going to get this sorted. This scenario may not be distinctly covered in the rules book. The rules book. I just squirrely Dan to that.
Fair enough. Continue with the pitter patter.
To be fair.
But, yeah, no, I mean, it's, if I was Chattanooga, I would kind of go over there and at least ask about that. Go, so, we had a bench representative go into the penalty box. I mean, I understand we have an issue, but I've been in that situation before where I had a skater with issues with the skate, and I couldn't go in there. We just finally had to create like an injury situation, and so we were able to remove them. They had to sit 3, but we were able to at least replace the player.
Certainly.
And I mean, that was the only option we really had based on the way the rules are written.
And I'm assuming that falls under the standard equipment challenge that you would a skate or any other part of the equipment. What I'm going to suggest from our vantage point, we can't necessarily see the lines, and in fact, the coaching staff may not have entered the box at all, but may have had communication. They might have.
No, I saw contact.
Yeah. I didn't see if there was contact with the player or just the cape.
Well, and the other thing was not only was the player also being contacted, but it was actually inside the opposing team's penalty box area as well. The player had advanced over into the opposing team's area as well. So I
wasn't sure if they took direction from the non-skating or skating officials
and that very well
to do
could
that.
Be. Yeah, the head ref can always authorize the penalty box folks to have some authority there.
Roxy Redding in the box now, and I'm not certain if she's in the box to serve penalty time for Sparrow Dynamic as a result of that situation.
Well, that would end up being a captain's penalty should it be a bench assessment. So, but yeah, so we're back into the action. Goobatumba out there playing the trade as the jammer right now, losing another blocker off to the penalty box is Assassination City. So 2 left out on the track. But that does not matter. Goobatumba. Oh, no. Forearm going against Goobatumba. It will be lead in favor of Chattanooga and Violet Heartbreaker.
Great job by the referees here to get the lead correct, too, because Goobatumba had been initially called the lead, but with the forearm penalty, that got negated, and the right lead was addressed in Violet Heartbreaker, who just went through for 4 points.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good communication between the in and out to in from these officials here today. So even when you've had some of these situations where penalties are a little in awkward areas, it's being relayed very quickly.
Often the unsung heroes of this game are the folks in the stripes, and we appreciate all their work this weekend here at Clover Cup 2019, sponsored by the Dallas Derby Devils.
Well, I think you're like me. It's in that coaching brain. You end up watching officials a lot as well because, in a gameplay, you're looking for potential, wins on official reviews and things. So you track where they are and are they communicating, are they not? And this crew is really doing a fantastic job of communicating. Of course, we have all our skaters back there on the track. The penalty box is empty. Tough go again now for Violet Heartbreaker, trying to break through that Assassination City defense.
Goobatumba able to solve that kind of chaos situation to get through on a scoring pass. Moxie Brown, look, a high block, I'm going to say. So back in the box, slight packet advantage once again for Chattanooga.
Well, nope, check that. So it looks like Chattanooga's also going to set one down. So we're just going to keep it even Steven here. It's like, we're going to play 3-on-3.
Well, I'm going to suggest that works out quite well for both of the jammers on the track right now with their styles. Wilhelmina strikes fear for Assassination City, taking on number 480 Quads of Chaos.
Yeah, and we're continuing to see this matchup right here, and it's actually been Strikes Fear who's come out on the better. Granted, a lot of times they're kind of doing a bit of a double release, but it's better than the penalties that Strikes Fear was getting early in the game.
Quick work to the outside. Quads of Chaos lead jammer, but Wilhelmina strikes fear hot on the heels, we'll say.
Yeah, and you called it. I mean, earlier, at the end of that, in this matchup we saw at the end of the first half, there seems to be a comfort level out there for the Conspiracy matching these two up because it is kind of comes out a wash, which is a good move on some ways for the Conspiracy because, Quads has been consistent. Going to get lead or going to get close. So you got to contend with, with them as the jammer. Oh, here we go. We're going for this matchup again.
Number one jammer versus number one jammer.
Wow, you know what? I just looked back through. That was our first 0-0 jam of the entire game.
30-point lead for Assassination City, 177-147. 12 minutes to go in the contest. KT Swoosh lead jammer for the Conspiracy. Oh, and it's a power jam.
Yeah, and this happened the last time out. The power jam went in favor for KT Swoosh. So we're going to have some illegal contact there coming against Goldie.
I didn't see the penalty, but I know it happened. 4 on the power jam now for Conspiracy. Gumatuma caused a little bit of chaos up front for the defensive positioning by Chattanooga. Then backs it off, and here comes the offense trying to sweep to the inside. Good work on avoiding that by Bully Von Beatum. But
yeah, once again, they did. They got the track cut now. Going against, good job there. It was one of those ones where the contact came from the outside and an inside skater was able to slip back to create the cut.
Probably these wonderful noise-canceling headphones, but I didn't hear the whistle, but definitely saw the hand signals. It was communicated. So power jam now for Goldie Docks. Only 4 on the board for Conspiracy on that initial score. So now this pass should tie it up for Chattanooga. Curious to see if they'll get the tie and then call it off. Try to save some time on the power jam.
Oh, nice. Little hop there coming from Goldie to clear that pack. It's a lot easier to get through when you're not getting beaten to win it.
I think
so, yeah, we're continuing to grind this out. We're out there in the initial apex trying to find that space through. It looks like Assassination City's having a good job of trying to find the weird angles there in that turn, too. And once again, able to withstand the offense from Chattanooga as a spin through the inside comes for KT Swoosh to clear the pack.
KT getting those 4 points. Obviously, Goldilocks wasn't going to get a call off there because she wasn't lead jammer, and I don't know why I was talking about it. Doesn't make any sense, rookie.
So, yeah, the thing I'm sitting there looking at is like, okay, so you can tell how violent the contact is coming inside the middle for these jammers when you see that star on the helmet get adjusted on there, when it's no longer in that nice, beautiful picture-perfect position, when it's almost like a star to the forehead. So, yeah, Goldie came out of that looking a little bit on the rough and tumble side there.
So let's talk about it. We have a team timeout now for Chattanooga. 10 minutes, 32 seconds to go. Assassination City up by 35, 189 to 154. Is this the time we talked about? Is this where Chattanooga decides we're in an area of the game where the clock is in our favor, where we're in striking distance? Do we just step on the gas and try to go for a win here, or do we try to keep it close and hope for the best in the last couple of minutes?
I think taking your time out here, you're going to have to, because if you're going to try and keep it close and stay to the best, then you would have needed to retain that timeout once again to play that clock management game at the end. So now that you've surrendered this timeout, you're going to have to start picking some moments to go for it. You're going to – right now, Assassination City has been controlling the jammer matchup game. They've been dictating that for a while now on getting the jam matchups they want. Chattanooga's going to have to flip it on them a little bit. They're going to possibly have to send somebody out and rein them back and flip somebody back out there and maybe keep Assassination City able, because they're closer to the jam line at this point than Assassination City is. So they can get the swap out a lot faster if they have that in their arsenal.
In this situation, Luna Slamgood was already on the track. There was no mystery of who they were going to put out, and that gave Chattanooga the opportunity to put anyone they wanted out, and they chose Genosaurus Rex.
Yeah, truth be told, I almost would have gone back to Quads of Chaos here, just to do that, just because she's been so consistent out there.
Right, and like we talked about earlier, any other jammer but Quads of Chaos puts pressure on Wilhelmina Strike Sphere.
Yep.
And I think that they're not taking advantage of that. They've been content to match those two up, and I think it's a disadvantage for Chattanooga.
Yeah, and I mean, that's always one of those things. You take the long travel because, they had to come from Chattanooga, Assassination City just down the road. You're dealing with a lot more logistics than the opposing team does. And sometimes that takes a little bit out of you, especially being the 10 o'clock game on the first day.
Yeah, we might have just seen the first set of the first nail in the coffin there with a power jam now. Whoa, and just as I put the announcer curse on Assassination City as Luna Slamgood collects a penalty. As soon as her cheeks hit the seat, that's going to release Genosaurus Rex.
Yeah, and I'm going to also say something here. Is like, a lot of times when you see kind of an unbalanced, half where one team's jammers are getting more penalties than the other team, sometimes they'll sit there and say, well, it's just the jam ref differential here. But when we've come into the second half, it's been pretty even both sides on the number of jammer penalties. So that tells you it's just a well-rounded crew, and that's just how the game played in the first.
Great block there by Sparrow Dynamic just when it looked like Genosaurus Rex was going to get through. A track cut penalty assessed to somebody. I don't know who. We got 2 jammers still on the track, and neither one of them are leaving. At this point, doesn't somebody get a second? What? Still nobody has left the track. So a track cut was called and waved off, I guess?
Yeah, potentially there, because like I said, This crew has been great at
Yeah, there was some definite chaos there, and whatever was unseen. I'm not sure. Sparrow Dynamic just laying the wood on Genosaurus Rex coming out of turn 4. Both jammers getting hammered all over the track right now.
Yeah, that's one of those just bad penalties that was taken there at the end, by Susie Slew for Chattanooga. You really need that time back on the clock for yourself, and I know you want to get that drawback, but you took such a long drawback, you ended up getting the penalty as well as losing game clock.
Well, it didn't help that Cannibal Cupcake also got put out of position there, so they both go for the same sin.
Yep.
That matches up 3-on-3. This opens up the door for Chattanooga. We're at 827, 195 to 160 again. 35 points separate the two teams. From half to half, only 2 points separating. 66 to 62 is the point total. So Assassination City has really rested on the laurels of their first half lead.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they've been content to just let points be scored, let the clock run out, and just take this one on home.
You've talked about a conservative nature of Chattanooga in the first half, and in the second half it's probably much to do about the same, save for a couple of really good power jams by KT Swoosh.
Yep.
This second half has been same.
Isn't that pretty much the game, though? Power jam opportunities by KT Swoosh has really changed this game. And it's hard when you got one core player that is just being that dynamic out there to solve. And it's like we were talking about. There's no solution to it because, I mean, she's really being effective at taking whatever Chattanooga's giving and turning it around on them. And it's not that Chattanooga's doing anything bad or wrong with it. It's just, she's able to, to reapply what she wants to do just a step quicker. And that's all it takes sometimes. Just a single step.
We've seen moments where it looked like Assassination City again was going to run away with it when they extended the lead to 51, but then Chattanooga fighting back tooth and nail to get it right back to 35. Sitting at 35 for a couple of different jams. You talked about earlier.
Yeah.
The clock isn't going to be your friend throughout this entire contest, right? In a few minutes, you're going to be looking at do or die situation. So do you step on the gas right now and make a commitment to try to chip huge chunks of points off this lead? Or do you stick with what you've been doing this entire time and hope Assassination City just steps in it, right?
Well, and here's the other thing. Coming into this game, of course, we got to look at points differentials and how that affects things. Oh, and we have our official review coming up. Okay, so Assassination City is probably looking for that track cut that you saw that you were talking about earlier that was called but not assessed. So we'll see how this sorts out from this because, there were a lot of people relaying that and talking about it, and it just disappeared.
It was evident by far that there was a track cut called. We saw the hand signal. We saw the whistle. There were numbers called, and whether they were audible by the skaters that did the infraction, it was right here in turn 3 where we're sitting. So we know something happened. Now, if it was a wave off because they determined that maybe they were able to correct themselves and they were a little early on the penalty call, I'm going to anticipate that that's probably the explanation.
So I'm going to posit another idea here in a minute after we pay some bills. I want to give a shout-out to Ruby Ribbon. Bras are the worst. Ditch your bra and get the comfort and support in a cami without annoyance of bras and underwires. Ruby Ribbon. And Sideline Sports. Sports medicine specialists Lindsay Dietrich, MD, and Sarah Kennedy, Department of Doctor of Orthopedics, are dedicated to helping active individuals and athletes who are injured return to their optimal level of performance. From pediatric sports injuries and issues facing all athletes to broken bones and concussions, we aim to address each individual's unique condition and needs. Let us help you unleash the power of Go. Sideline Sports.
It's been determined through that review that the whistle that was blown in the infraction was for a different skater.
Okay.
It was not for the jammer from Chattanooga at the time. They didn't indicate who that skater was, and obviously during the review the request wasn't for the actual infraction, but it was a different skater. So I don't suspect that any extra penalties will be assessed for Chattanooga.
Here we go, though. No, we were just talking about this. I was so interested. We had Goomba Toomba out there, and Goomba Toomba is sitting on 5 penalties. So I found that to be an interesting move. If I'd have been Chattanooga, I'd have been like, all right, we're going to go for it. We're going to get that 6 on you, make you really get in your own head. But here's the matchup win once again. Assassination City controlling the jammer matchup.
Right, and I think that's the best. It's obviously been the best situation. This has got to be the 4th time now that the two have paired and Meany has been able to get lead jam out of the contest. And Quads of Chaos has been very successful getting the initial pass and minimizing the damage that Meany can do out of that lead jam position, but still can't seem to solve getting lead jam over Wilhelmina.
Yeah, and that time good.
Nice
good
block by
patience.
Mayhem.
Yeah, and like I said, leaked back, got the control, got the win, leaked back out front. Oh, saw that right there was a back to a classic Meany. We saw that from our angle. There were no officials who saw a good angle, but definitely used a little bit of forearm to create that space to make that go through. So it might have been that might have been a potential fatigue moment there because he used some great laterals on the first few pass throughs. But yeah, that's it. That matchup, it's winning right now for Assassination City.
Yeah. Now we're going to roll Goomba Toomba back on the jam line against number 13, Violet Heartbreaker. 203 to 64, Assassination City ahead with 7 minutes to go in the period. Number 2, Jam 14, and off they go.
And this is one of those moments where, like I said, Chattanooga has to hopefully they might be aware of Goomba penalty issues right now, but no, not taking advantage, getting chest to chest and able to swing those hips around to grab that lead.
Pack slows down here coming into turn 3. Good offense up front by Bully Von Beatum, but just not enough to get Violet Heartbreaker through the pack. Outside goes Goomba Toomba. Count those 4 on the board.
Yeah, and like I said, we're starting to see the matchups here. Once again, we saw the last matchup already be 3 times in this half. This is the 3rd time for these 2 jammers to be out here together.
Star pass completed. Block Mage. Jammer on record for Chattanooga. Huge contact, but nothing illegal. Airborne, flying through the sky. Goomba Toomba put 4 on the board. No pass, no penalty.
Yeah, once again, that time Goomba Toomba decided to go in the middle just the same way, putting the pressure on. That time, Chattanooga able to get the 2 blockers there to drive out and create the contain. Now getting Block Mage back into the mix in the same kind of role now as Goomba Toomba. Sometimes you don't have to get the big win. You just got to have the small win to create the time.
Well, this is a jam that they were hoping to get the last couple times Goomba Toomba's been out there, except for that.
There it is.
Just terribly timed penalty. At the end of the jam, you're in complete control. There's no reason to take that risk, and then Goomba Toomba just mauling from the back.
Yeah, and with that time on the clock left here, Goomba Toomba is going to have to come out of the box. So it's going to be a bit of a strategy for Assassination City with the jammer coming out of the box. With right now what we're looking at should be the 6th penalty.
And that's a lockdown situation, too, for Assassination City, where they should be going into this jam able to lock down and have their jammer on the track. But Goomba Toomba just way too aggressive, not understanding the situation and just taking a bad penalty.
So here's the question. Okay, they're going to put Goldie out there. This I agree with. I'm comfortable with this idea. Now the question is, are they going to be able to finally turn that offense in this one and put the pressure on to get the points and to get this going and maybe have Goomba Toomba come out of the penalty box hot because they're still out there with a classic pivot right now. Is Assassination City. They didn't bring, say, maybe Sparrow out there to play the pivot to possibly do the pass off, to avoid that 7th penalty. Yeah, you just kind of hold your breath as she comes out of the box, just waiting to see. It's like she's going to come out hot, going to come out angry, but no, keeping it clean. And this time the penalty goes against Goldie with a back block.
So situational. Know how many penalties you have. Know what your point total is right now. Don't come in hot. Don't bounce off of people.
Wow.
You're killing clock at this point. I understand if you're an aggressive-minded skater who always is trying to push forward, but at some point you've got to recognize what's going on in the game. Take your time. Let your offense open up holes for you and then get to the holes. You don't have to create offense on your own at this point. Yeah,
one of the players out there for Assassination City I really haven't mentioned, but just because it's been such a steady player out there in the middle a lot of times was Corkscrew U.
Right.
I keep seeing that 588 and that little tutu kind of little thing out there, and it's just you just see her everywhere out there.
Corky is one of the smallest players on the track for the Assassination City Conspiracy, but still does an amazing job of positional blocking, keeping everyone together. Probably one of the smarter players on the track for sure.
Yeah, it's one of those blockers that just kind of seems to hang out in the middle and lets everybody else do their thing, you know, kind of absorbing up the contact to let other people make the finish. And right now we have all skaters back there out on the track as we're closing in on 20 seconds left to go in this jam. 2:53 left on the clock. Of course, this is crunch time for Chattanooga should they try to get back in this. Not sure where we're sitting as far as potential point differentials here and if it helps or hurts anybody at this point. Because that is also an aspect, you know, we have to take into consideration for Chattanooga. Are they staying within the window that works for them and that keeps them, you know, where they are? So it's a no-hurt situation even without the win.
2:34 Assassination City, 179 Chattanooga. 2 minutes, 18 seconds to go. Barrier number 2, jam number 16 about to take place. Luna Slamgood towing the jam line for Conspiracy. Number 480, Quads of Chaos. So we've got a little bit of different matchup this time on the jam line.
Okay, we're going to actually have an official timeout. I was wondering if
timeout.
Somebody was on the bench of one of these two teams was calling this late timeout. I thought, well, that's a bit of an interesting time to call it.
That was so quick.
Yep.
It was obviously a quick scoreboard adjustment to make sure we were good. 134 to 183 now our total going into 2 minutes, period number 2. Jam number 16 is about to kick. I already told you who's going to be participating. Slight pack advantage for Assassination City.
I had one of those, everybody missed the 5-second yell and just heard the whistle, was like, wait, we can play?
Yeah. You want to go? You want to go? You want to go?
So we can do this? Yeah, okay, here we go. So, yeah, there it is. Quads Chaos breaking the back first. Able to stay off the contact there from Tipsy McStaggers is Luna Slamgood.
Took a matchup change there to get that result for Chattanooga, but smart play here of a quick pack.
Yeah, I didn't actually get to see who initiated the speed change.
It was Chattanooga who sped it up, but I think they sped it up trying to get some more time to get their extra blocker out of the box.
Okay. Because, it's just, usually a speed move is going to kill clock, and it's
I think if you go the hit and quit scenario, you're trapped with that blocker for the next jam, and I thought they were a smart move there to speed it up, get your jammer out, and then call it off. Or, excuse me, your blocker out, and then call it off.
Yeah, and due to all the penalties that have been incurred against Assassination City, this is the first time, in 5 jams we haven't had an opportunity to see KT swoosh. Of course, heck of a time, as we're under 1 minute left to go in the game when this whistle blows, or just at a minute. Bring out your top jammer to kill this game out. And, it was able to get the contact there on Genosaurus Rex, but Genosaurus Rex down. Buy time, do it all, why don't you,
Conspiracy with high hopes for this weekend, and they're going to have to save some in the tank for the next 2 games. I understand the long break for KT Swoosh after pretty much dominating period 1.
So just going to say it, we're likely going to finish this game out here in this jam. Of course, you never can tell. I mean, we do have a track cut being assessed, and it is going against Chattanooga, so that's going to put this as a power finish potentially for KT Swoosh.
Chattanooga to roll 2 to the box. So pack advantage for Conspiracy and power jam.
Yeah, and after such a quiet first half for the jammers for Chattanooga, only pulling 1 jammer penalty, they've ended up being assessed with 6 here in the second half. The very thing that, they just couldn't do.
Going into this game, Assassination City ranked 125, Chattanooga 138. So these points matter.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with the sport, they're not running it up. The period clock says 0, but there's still 40 seconds left on the jam clock, and they're going to get as many points as they can because the spread matters.
You have to. I mean, it's it is kind of one of those things when you're on the bench and you kind of just want to go ahead and end the game, but you got probably somebody over there running the numbers, doing the stats, going, we need just 10 more points to make sure we cover the spread, and
Genosaurus Rex threw on a scoring pass for Chattanooga.
So it looks like they are riding us to the full fruition of the jam.
Yep. Inside of 5 seconds to go, and KT Swoosh going to back things up. One last shot at putting a few more points on the board. See if we get past that 4th hip.
Does.
Looks like she did.
Yeah.
So that was worth it. 20-point jam for KT Swoosh on the final jam of the game. 6 there by Genosaurus Rex. Unofficial score Assassination City Roller Derby Conspiracy 254. Chattanooga Roller Girl All-Stars 189. And a very, very entertaining competition.
It really
and
was.
Heck of a way to start off Clover Cup 2019.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those things that I really would hate to be the team that's going to have to find either one of these two teams later on in the tournament. Of course, Assassination City going to be playing this afternoon. They get to double up on this day, courtesy of the win, because I think they both kind of sharpen their blades in this game a little bit. They're going to be tough competitors the rest of this tournament.
Great way to kick it off. I'm proud to be on the microphone with amazing people all weekend long. Thank you, Speaker of the House, for doing a great job on game number 1, and we'll see you folks in just about 30 minutes for game number 2, which is going to feature Kansas City versus Rocking City. For the Speaker of the House, I remain Captain Motorboater. We'll see you in just a few minutes.